here's a little exercise that we're going to do. You do need pen and paper. So this is the story of a carrot, an egg, and coffee. Anybody know this story?
No.
Awesome. I love introducing new things. So this young girl went to her grandmother and told her about how life was so hard. Ever have that? You just wish you had somebody to go to and say, you know, life sucks. She didn't know how she was going to make it, and she wanted to give up. She was tired of fighting and struggling. It seemed that one problem was solved and a new one came up. Sound familiar? Sometimes it happens in life, doesn't it? Her grandmother took her to the kitchen. Kitchen seems to be where everything happens.
I don't know. I'm never there.
She filled 3 pots with water, and she placed each one on a high fire. So she filled 3 pots with water, and she turned up the heat to the high setting, and soon the pots started to boil. So in the first pot, she placed carrots. In the second pot, she placed eggs. And in the last one, she placed ground coffee beans. She let them sit and boil without saying a word. In about 20 minutes, she turned off the burners. She fished the carrots out and placed them in a bowl. She pulled the eggs out and placed them in a bowl. And then she ladled the coffee out and placed it in a bowl. And turning to her granddaughter, she said, "Tell me, what do you see?" "Carrots, eggs, and coffee," the young girl replied. The grandmother brought her closer and asked her to feel the carrots. She did, and she noted that they were soft. She then asked her to take an egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, she asked her to sip the coffee. The granddaughter smiled as she tasted its rich aroma. Can't talk this morning. The granddaughter then asked, "What does this mean?" So her grandmother explained that each of these objects had faced the same adversity, the boiling water, but each had reacted differently. The carrot went in strong, hard, and unrelenting. However, after being subjected to the boiling water, it softened and became weak. The egg had been fragile. Its thin outer shell had protected its liquid interior, but after sitting through the boiling water, its inside became hardened. The ground coffee beans were unique, however. After they were in the boiling water, they had changed the water. "Which are you?" the grandmother asked her daughter. "When adversity knocks on your door, how do you respond? Are you a carrot, an egg, or coffee bean?" So think about that. Which am I? This is where you start to really get the message of this and apply it to your own self. Are you the carrot that was strong, but once adversity hit, all of a sudden, we're a blubbering mess and we get weak and we cower in the corner? Am I the egg that starts with a malleable heart but changes with the heat? Did I have a fluid spirit, but after a death, a breakup, a financial hardship, did my shell look the same, but on the inside, am I bitter and tough with a stiff spirit and a hardened heart? Or am I like the coffee bean? The bean actually changes the hot water. The very circumstance that brings the pain. When the water gets hot, it releases the fragrance and the flavor. If you're like the bean, when things are at their worst, do you get better and change the situation around you? When the hours are the darkest and the trials are their greatest, do you elevate to another level? So how do you handle adversity? Are you the carrot, the egg, or the coffee bean?
I am.
It's based on the success principle of Jack Canfield. You might recognize that name. There is an event. In these cases, it was the boiling water. In life, the boiling water is a metaphor for whatever is going on. What's bringing something to you, some challenge, some fire that you're going through at the moment. The response is what happens. And the outcome is the boiling water event changes the object, or the object changes the boiling water. So, 2 by 2, do we have an even number? The person right beside of you? You two, Deirdre, Erica, you two, Mary and Kathy. Kathy's on the other side of the wall. Grace, Isis, and Jim, and Kathleen, and
3, but sometimes a 1.
Yeah, with.
3 at 1.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So in other words, I'm strong and I can get through something
Mhm.
and I can learn from it. And sometimes I fall apart a long time afterwards.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to meet with your one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to tell that person what you think you are
Mm-hmm.
and why. But we're not going to be gone more than 15 minutes at the max.
Oh,
So if you can do it in 5 minutes, great, come back. You can stay in the room.
Yeah.
Just like keep your conversation between the 2 of you. Why are you shaking your head? Oh, it goes this way. Okay.
So when you come out and take it,
Yeah.
And the other one is.
Yes.
I'm still.
Anybody?
Yeah.
That's really
My country question. No.
Wrapped up in about 1 minute.
Yeah, that's what, oh, yeah, it's awesome stuff. That's fine.
Okay, let's come back together, please. We got rays to discover.
Back to coffee
Okay, how many carrots do we have in the room?
How many what?
Carrots.
Depends on the situation. I'm right now.
Okay, so you can relate to the carrot when there's adversity.
But I'm really aiming to go towards that, at least a.
Right, setting your intention. Yeah, I love that. How many eggs are there? Go. In the past, yes.
That's what I
Okay.
say. In the past.
How many coffees in the room?
Yay! So I like to.
13. Yeah, there you go, Charlie. How'd you like that exercise?
Absolutely.
Wasn't that a great life lesson?
You know what I thought I was telling my buddy here, that in some ways I'm all three. When something bad happens, I go to mush first. And then I'll even get hard, you know, because I'm like, well, why is this happening? And then finally I come to the realization that it's change, and that, like he said, everything changes. And it's a lesson, it was a lesson for me. And so then I become the coffee team.
Metamorphosis.
That's it. Wow. And I'm just the opposite, Jean. I'm strong, and then I later on I'm mush.
Anybody else want to share anything?
I love the corn we found thingy, and I love a coffee every morning. And I put in with cinnamon, and my coffee cover I on with keto, and it will helping your blood pressure going down with the cinnamon.
It does. Okay. Lou just arrived.
Yay!
Just in time for us to talk about the raise. So if anybody else would like to share, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you pointed out, just a thing that I thought was really wise. It says it's like we're at the university, we're here to learn. So we're going to go through these things to learn. So, you know, he said that that's kind of what it is we've signed up for these courses.
Courses. Like the University of the Universe.
University of Life.
Yeah. Gotta graduate.
So wise.
Gotta graduate. In this situation, sometimes are the strict teachers, you know, the ones that pick on you, that want things done at the right time, and you dread to go into their classes, but you learn the most out of those because he demands your focus. And that's what these situations are in our lives, you know, the boiling water.
Kind of like your
Mm-hmm.
start on time. There's a reason for it.
Hello, Blue.
Gracie, you had your hand raised.
I think there's a wonderful takeaway right here with this exercise. That you
Okay, can we listen to Gracie, please, and give her respect?
There's a great exercise here and a takeaway that we have an acronym. We have an EC, EGC. So you can spot when you're in your life, you're thinking, oh, I'm a carrot now, I'm mushy. Okay. So I can identify that now I'm an egg. And so then it will allow you to know where you are, and perhaps, you can then climb out of the basket from that. So I thank you very much. That's what it's beginning to realize.
And it's an opportunity when we find ourselves having that reaction as a carrot, it weakens us when we have the adversity and we're like a hot mess. It's an opportunity for us to just pause, hit that pause button. I always say, this is like a movie. It's the movie of my life. Y'all are actors, you're characters in my movie. So if something happens, there's an adversity, there's a conflict, there's something going on. I become weak and want to crawl off in my corner. I have the opportunity to hit the pause button and step away and say, okay, why am I weak? What's going on? What button was pushed? What memory was there that said, this is how you react. This is what you do to protect yourself. You crawl in the corner and you close up yourself and you don't want anybody to come into your corner. If I'm hard, we were talking about that. I was talking with Elaine and Charlie. After my divorce, I was abused in that relationship. And so I became very much the egg. I was so hard and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to be talking to me. I didn't want to, express what was going on even. Just totally closed up in that shell. But it was an opportunity to see that life isn't always that way, that there's opportunities to have a family like you. And there's always an opportunity with every challenge, with every adversity, there's an opportunity for you to change. I love that that's the name of our retreat, changes. And that's what we're learning. How do we change? How do we shift? And I hope that you're learning some of that here, that you're learning to be more like the coffee or the tea. And when that event happens, say, okay, let me just shift. We go with the flow. We talked about how energy shifts and moves. And so we can do that. We can adapt. Good morning, Miss Blue.
Hi.
We're so glad you're here.
It's great to be here.
What?
Yes. Inside it started to rain then. So it's beautiful out though.
It is. Yeah, we're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I just bring up something that
Sure.
Jim brought up yesterday? When I was seeing that past life, and when I started talking about it, I got extremely emotional. And Jim said to me, see it as an observer, right? And that's something that we can do too, is if we can step back and just see what's happening from, there's somebody that does the crimson circle.
So
They always call,
that's
go
important.
behind the straw wall.
Mhm.
And you can watch what's happening, but you don't have to be in it. And so, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's the pause button.
Yes.
When you hit
That's
that
the pause button.
when you hit the pause
Exactly.
button, you have an opportunity then to regroup, to
Yes.
reset, to pull on the tools that you have.
Mhm.
We all have a spiritual toolbox. And in that box, we have many things that we've learned that we can use in each situation. Yeah, great. Awesome. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the spirit guides. Then we're going to learn what the rays are all about and who's helping us in each of those rays. So the spirit guides, as Jim mentioned yesterday, they are beings or entities that help us. They can be anything. They can be a loved one that's in spirit now. They can be an angel. They have an agreement with our higher self that they're going to help us through this thing called life. There's not a guide when we're born that says, okay, you do this, this, and this. We kind of come in here and we're like, what am I doing? And we might have caregivers that are nourishing and love us, and we grow up and know that as our reality. We may have caregivers that are not so loving, or peers that bully, and there's all these experiences that happen in life. But we do have help. We have our spirit guides. And there's usually a karmic connection. So if you've experienced something in one lifetime, with somebody, they might show up as a spirit guide to help you through that next lesson. Animals can be spirit guides. Anybody know who your animal spirit guide is?
No.
A bear.
A bear.
I was told a bear.
Grace?
Elephant.
Elephant, I love that.
I have a number of them.
I'm a rabbit.
And Blue has a number of animal spirit guides. I get that. Probably doggies. I think.
Which animal is your?
Jim led us through yesterday. It's a meditative process and connect in with them. Sometimes they'll appear very strongly. I've had that happen where I've had animals that have passed on and then all of a sudden they're there. I mean, physically their form is just like showing up to me. So yeah, they'll come to you. Leo, you have your animals?
Yes, lion.
A lion, of course. Of course, Leo's a lion. So, and it's important to know also,
My dog has cats, right? I can't.
back to the room, please. Okay, so this is important to know. That guides can change from time to time. We all have guardian angels. You may have gotten in touch with your guardian angels, you may not. Those do not change. You could have others that come in, but you are born with a designated angel working with you your entire life. From the moment you come in until you're no longer in that physical body. But guides, they may come in because you're going through something huge. And so there may be a guide appear to help you through that time. So that's important to remember also. When you say, I don't know who my guide is, just sit in the now moment and say, who's working with me right now? We're going to talk about some of the ascended masters that work with us in the different rays of energy. And so you might, as we're talking about them and learn some of their characteristics, you might relate to that and say, oh, that's what's been helping me. So when we talk about the rays, see what you resonate with. See what's coming up that's really showing you something. Okay, so there are many types of spirit guides, just like we talked about. It could be anything. And Jim mentioned that yesterday, that, you know, anything is possible. Energy is energy. And we're coming to realize that, I think, more and more, how related we are through energy. So I mentioned ascended masters. So let's talk about some of this terminology you may not be familiar with. The Chohan. Anybody heard that word before?
No.
The Chohan refers to that ascended master or Lord that's working with the rays. So if you hear that word, then that's what it's referring to. There's a Chohan, which is the head master, the one that's really guiding that energy. There's one for each ray. Dharma, anybody know that word?
Yes.
Mhm.
Dharma is your divine plan. Dimensions, I hope you all have a better understanding of dimensions after all that we've talked about this week. Those are the realm in which we are vibrating. Right now, we're vibrating in the third dimension, but where else are we as we're in that third dimension? This is a test. How were you listening?
Oh, we're gonna see.
No.
Third.
Oh, we're on fourth, right?
This is the third. The third dimension is matter. That's where we see form and shape that comes into reality. The fourth dimension is our thoughts, everything that's happening on that etheric realm. That's the fourth dimension. I am. You may have heard this in relation to the Creator, to God, how you look at that highest being, source, divine. Initiation, the concept that there are 9 levels of spiritual development to progress in a ray. It says up to, but within a ray. Progressing, we come into each incarnation to learn lessons. You can go into different rays, but you come into a ray with the main thing that you're here to get in this lifetime, to understand more fully. Not that you're going to graduate, but to understand it more fully. A ray is a concentrated stream of spiritual energy. It's commonly believed there are 12 rays, but we're working with the 7 rays in here today. There's many different philosophies, many people that have gotten downloads and said, oh, this is what we do. So we incarnated, as I said, into one of those 7 rays that influence our lives, but we're also influenced by the other rays. So just because you resonate more with one ray, like Blue knows she's a blue ray, there are other rays that she'll walk into.
Yellow in the sun.
And understand that ray more fully, because there may be a lesson. We don't come with just one lesson. I think I signed up for the whole shebang. It's like, oh, I'm going to do that, and that, and that, and that. But there are lessons. And so as we incarnate, we come into the ray that's going to help us the most with those lessons in life.
So I represent the blue ray. And I have lessons in all of them. I think that's you also. So my lessons are from blue ray's perspective and those different rays. It's like what you were talking about yesterday. Right? You can't, there's no limits in that. You walk down the corridor.
Right.
No limits in the corridor. Okay. Same thing with the ray.
Exactly. All right. So the Ascended Masters, these are, a lot of times, these will be your spirit guides. These will be the ones that are helping you to understand life a little better. Why? Because they experienced life. They went through some of the challenges, some of the fires that we went through. Some common ones that you may have heard their name and maybe said, who is that? Get to know them better. We talked about this yesterday. We have the internet. We have all kinds of resources that we can find about these beautiful beings. Babaji is like one of, you're shaking your head. If you've ever resonated with and allowed Babaji to teach you and gone into that energy, there's nothing like it. It is like so peaceful, so enlightening. But I feel I have experienced the Babaji very sternly. As you know, he's not one that fools around. He's very warm, loving, but he's like you were talking earlier, you do this, and there's no arguing with that. You will do this. And sometimes our spirit guides, our masters do that to us for our own good. Because if they ask, will you do this, please? And it's like, maybe I will, But if you have committed to growing in your spiritual walk, and you get that master that says you will do this, you'll do it. Confucius, anybody ever heard of Confucius? Mm-hmm. Confucius says, right, very, very wise master, well-educated, Gautama Buddha. Anybody know about Buddha? Yeah, I connected with him. And there were different forms of Buddha, just as there are of other masters. And that's the thing too, when a master, we know them popularly by a name like Babaji or Confucius, they also incarnate into other lives. So you may know them in a different form other than Buddha. You might see them in another incarnation. Christ Jesus, the world's savior and teacher who came here to bring peace and teach us all those important lessons. The parables that he taught were a metaphor for us to learn about how to deal with life. Maitreya, anybody ever heard that name? Very powerful master, loving kindness. He works to enlighten humanity. That's a big job. Mother Mary, or Divine Mother, as she is referred to a lot. And she is an ascended master of love, wisdom, and compassion. Ramtha, said to be the first human to ever ascend 35,000 years ago, and now leads the teachings of enlightenment and ascension. Saint Germain, anybody relate to Saint Germain with the violet flame? Maybe you've done violet flame meditations or caught in the energy of the violet flame. It's a great energy for clearing. So if you are clearing your aura or you're clearing energy that's around you that doesn't feel so good, just envision you're placing it in the violet flame and it's taken immediately. Okay, here we go. Wake up, Charlie.
That's right.
Charlie's trying to doze on us. The first ray, the flame of the will of God. The master that's over that first ray is El Moria. Anybody hear of El Moria related to him? Oh, y'all got some learning to do, don't you? Gracie,
Yes.
you raised your hand.
No, you said.
Oh, if you've ever heard of
it.
It's okay, it's still early in the morning. I've only had one cup of coffee. Each of these rays, there's a temple, etheric temple associated with it. This one is in the Temple of Goodwill in Darjeeling, India. So that's where the portal of energy is the highest for that ray. So it doesn't mean that that master is staying there in that place. They're helping all of us, all of humanity. But if you want to really experience the portal energy, that's where you would go to experience it. Good question?
I know who live in India is Chada.
Prachetta's in India. Yes, she is. So the archangels that work with this ray are Archangel Michael. And why would that be? And Faith. Anybody know about the feminine angels, the counterparts to these archangels that we are sometimes very familiar with? They all have a female form. Angels are neither male or female, but they all have a counterpart to them. So Faith is the female archangel that works with Michael a lot and works with this first ray. There's a wonderful book about the feminine archangels, and you can find that on Amazon. I didn't write it, but I do have it and enjoy it. So the retreat is where maybe you would go and sit in their energy to learn from them. You can do it in your home. You can do it here. You can do it out in nature. But if you really want to immerse in the energy, you would go to their temple, which is in Banff, Canada, on my bucket list of places to go, and in Lake Louise, Canada. I've never been to Canada. Have you ever been to Canada?
Yeah, once.
Do you feel the energy a little strong there? A little elevated?
Yeah.
it's
Beautiful.
I went on the cruise over, but that is nice.
So this is the blue ray, the first ray. And Blue, anything you want to add?
In Banff, Canada, over the lake, is where I go and
Oh, I can,
our friend, Big Mike. So that's a beautiful place, and you can meditate and go there, and the doors are always open. And it's kind of like the golden doors have never been closed, because there's so many people going in and out. So there's in front of the doors, there's like dust rabbits, dust bunnies, because they've never been closed. And I've met in there a few times, and Faith, and I think you went there with me once. So yeah, he's very strong for me. So he's sort of ever present there.
Thank you. Anybody else feel that you have a relation with this first ray, the blue ray? Kathy, you do? Yeah, and again, as we said, you may go into different ones at different times because there's a teaching that you need from that. Can get back to where it was.
I do too.
Go ahead, Gracie. I'm trying to find my presentation here.
I carry them around with me.
Yeah, I can see that.
He had a master school in Africa.
Awesome. All right, the second ray. Oh, wait, we're not done with the first ray, Teri. So the qualities of the first ray: divine power or the power of God, will, desire to do the will of God, goodwill, faith, constancy, determination, protection, strength, courage, initiative, and omnipotence. And you know what? Are we describing blue? Are we describing Tracy? Are we describing Kathy, some of the people that said, yeah, I'm in that blue ray? Some of these qualities are like just evident.
I have a bone pick. You all know me. I was just gonna say, I know a good relationship with you. Everyone's, okay, you have a relationship with the Blu-ray? Why didn't you want to go? Yeah, I wanted to, but I was embarrassed about saying the wrong dimension.
There's no such thing as wrong.
Well, it was, in that, and we are in the third, not the sixth. I'd say,
You're part of all of us, so you have to know all of them.
You have to know all of them.
that it was wrong. for me.
Yeah, you'll resonate with something from each ray, I'm sure. So the crystals, how you can pull in that. Right, sorry, Kathy.
I'm not an actual Blu-ray, but I can resonate with parts of it because I feel
Because you work in that ray.
a lot, especially when I'm with Colin and stuff like that, you know, at home.
Yeah. All right, so some of the crystals that are associated that you can use to pull in that energy more fully and connect. The diamond, we talked about that yesterday, blue. The lapis lazuli. Anybody know what that is?
Yes, I don't know.
One of the blue crystals,
Oh, okay.
the sapphire or the star sapphire. And Blue had brought some of her beautiful crystals and showed us some of the ones that.
I was wearing David Sapphires.
And you were wearing the sapphire bracelet. Tuesday is the day of the week that it's really magnified. I mean, it can be any day, but on Tuesday is when we can really get into that energy. And there's something about it being Thankful Tuesday, right? We give gratitude.
It was the reason why I Blue had a presentation
On Tuesday. So just as a note, all the rays come to the earth each day. However, on one day of the week, one of them is magnified. So it's ideal to wear the color of the ray on that day. So on Tuesday, wear something blue.
Always look too.
All right, let's go to the second ray. The flame of illumination and wisdom. The ascended master is Lord Lanto. The temple is the Great Hall of Illumination in the Grand Teton Mountain Range in Wyoming. Wow. Anybody ever visited the mountain range there in Wyoming?
Nope.
Me either. As much as I've traveled the country, I think that is one of the places that I have to go. Anybody know this archangel, Jophiel?
Yes.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
I say she, when I refer to the angels, I just always, they come to us in different forms. I always see this feminine, beautiful, powerful energy, kind of like Wonder Woman. And she helps us to see beauty in ourselves and in others. So if Jophiel is working with you. Just ask, am I working right now in this second ray? Or if you feel like you're here in this lifetime learning more wisdom, teaching more wisdom. As we learn, we teach. We learn from each other. We're all the greatest teachers you can have are sitting right here in this room. Because you're open to it and you're ready to teach. You may not feel like you're ready to teach, but we've all had experiences. So we're teachers for each other. The retreat is in China. So, qualities of the second ray is associated with education or learning. How many teachers or ex-teachers do we have in the room? I know we have Auntie Chi, Dylan.
We got Brookie.
Brookie's a great teacher. She was a ski instructor. Emma was a ski instructor. So if you resonate with that second ray.
Crazy.
So this is the yellow ray. And some of the crystals, the yellow diamond, the yellow sapphire, golden topaz, tiger's eye, and I want to add citrine in there. Anybody resonate with citrine energy? Yeah, it's the energy of abundance. All right, so Sunday is your day if you resonate with the second ray. So yellow on that day or gold. The third ray, the flame of cosmic love, Paul the Venetian. Paul the Venetian is one of my guides at different times. As we said, they can change and shift. He has taught me a lot about love, about compassion, about charity. And the archangels are Shamuel. And I love Shamuel's energy. Shamuel helps us to find things that's lost.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have something that's misplaced, call in Shamuel. And if you want to add an extra oomph, call in St. Anthony to work with him.
Yep.
And together they'll find things almost immediately.
Yep, I was like a month ago. I was my necklace the most. Then I found it. See,
So it's awesome. So the retreat is in St. Louis, Missouri, where that big arch is. I've not been there and felt that energy. The temple is in South France, which I have not been to. Okay, move this along. I know you all are taking notes.
yeah, take some time.
And what I will do, because I love you all so much, I will send this in an email to you. So you'll have So, yeah, moving along because we have our hot bear to get to. And I've already said I may go a little bit over my time, but she will have her full time, believe me. So the third ray, the quality, love, compassion, charity, and adoration. And some of the things associated with it, and you may resonate with some of these: art, drawing, painting, sculpture, theatrical arts, any expressive creative energy that comes from you. The main crystals, again, the diamond. I think that diamond is going to show up in probably most of these. The garnet, where are we?
Garnet Rock.
Garnet World, right here in Vermont. The rose quartz. Somebody got a rose quartz that I was giving away. Who got that? Ricky did, of course. The pink beryl. I'm not real familiar with that stone.
Beryl.
Beryl.
Yeah, they're very rare. Beryl's one of the rare stones in the world.
And the ruby. Anybody like rubies? Nice ruby. So Monday is the day for the third ray. And the main day of pink ray. So this is the pink ray, the third one. It's really not. Yeah, I guess it is kind of pink. So blue is the first one, and then yellow, and then the pink ray. All right, so the fourth ray, flame of purification, Lord Serapis Bay. Anybody related to Serapis Bay before?
A long time ago, before I was into any of this, I was listening to that. Never heard the name Serapis Bay, and it kept coming into my mind. That was the weirdest thing ever. I was like, what? Yeah, like,
I'm glad you shared that because many times that's what happens
really?
when we're in a relaxed state. Then our guide can hit us up the side of the head and say, hey, I've been trying to get your attention. Where were you? So many times if you're falling asleep and you hear a name, don't be scared. Just say, oh, who is that? Or what is that if you're not familiar? Or if you are familiar with that name, and say, welcome. What do you want to show me? What do you want to teach me? Yeah, it happens a lot that a name just like pops in our head. And there's no accidents or coincidences. They're there for you. The Archangel, Gabriel, of course. Gabriel is the messenger angel that helps us with clarity. So the temple is in Egypt, which again, I haven't been there. The retreat I have been to in Sacramento and Mount Shasta in California. Awesome, awesome places.
Does Gabriel have a feminine?
Gabriel does have a feminine at the moment. I can't remember her names. I don't have it, but I can look it up for sure and let you all know what that would be. So the qualities of the fourth ray, see if you resonate with any of those. Purity, wholeness, integration, which means you're pulling in all the experiences, all the parts of your life that you've been through in this lifetime and seeing that overall picture. Some of the things that you might have participated in as this master is working with you, architecture, technology, great person here that knows a lot about technology, computers, the internet, radio, TV, manufacturing. Yes. No, Lou was laughing.
Oh, yeah. Because I said architecture.
Architecture, our great architect over here.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah, and Friday is the day of the week that it's magnified, or the main day of the white ray. Some of the crystals, again, the diamond, the pearl, azurite. You have one of those, right? And the quartz crystal. There's lots of quartz here in this area, just out there. Pick one up, just hold it, look at it, feel the energy of it. All right, we're moving on to the fifth ray.
What day of the week is that?
Friday.
Right? That's what we can do.
The fifth ray, flame of healing and manifestation. Master Valerian.
Wow.
Here's the chart if you want to write down the colors with each one. All right, so this one's the green ray, fifth ray. And our archangel is Raphael and Divine Mother. The temple is in Greece and the retreat is in China. Neither of which I have been to, but I have reacted and been taught some by Master Buddha. Qualities, healing. Any energy healers in here? Feel like you have healing hands? You don't have to be trained to be a healer, to bring that healing energy through. If it's in your hands, it's in your hands. If it's in your divine plan, that's where it comes from, all of it. Learning about energy healing modalities just helps you to understand some of the structure of what you do as you're working with somebody's energy fields. And some of the things that you might participate in, music. Any musicians in the room? Yeah, thank you, Leo. And Dylan, I have heard you play that guitar.
And I do the gardening.
Wednesday is the day of the week that it's magnified. So Wednesday, you might wear green if you want to immerse in that energy some more. Some of the crystals, the beautiful emerald, the diamond, jade, and quartz crystal.
No, the rain looks like diamonds coming out.
It does. And what I love is when you at the sunset and the sun is like sparkling on the water and it's like diamonds. Sometimes it's the water that comes up. All right, the sixth ray, we're almost done. The sixth ray, the flame of resurrection, Lord Sananda and Lady Nada. And if you don't know those names, please get to know them, especially Lady Nada, with all of her beautiful energy and guidance. And she, again, when I've connected in with her, yes, you get the compassion, you get the love, you get this beautiful nurturing. But she's another one that's going to say, you will do this. So listen to these guides. What they're telling you, what they're asking of you in a very stern way is for your own good. It's not that you're being punished or that you're being sent to the corner. They're asking you and telling you what to do so that you can grow spiritually. The archangels, Uriel, we all know that name, right? Grounding, and Aurora, who is the feminine that works with Uriel. The temple is in Jerusalem, and the retreat is in Poland. Kathy, did you know that? All right, yeah, we're going to the seventh ray. We'll go to the chart for that one.
What color is the sixth?
I'm getting there. The sixth ray is purple.
Ooh, my favorite color.
Any purple people in here?
I'm in.
Me too. Purple and blue, my favorite colors. All right, so the seventh ray, which is violet, and this is the freedom of God, the seat of the soul. And we have Saint Germain working with us in that seventh ray, and the retreat is in Transylvania. The temple is in Transylvania, Romania, and we have a P that's there. Robert Dosa is in Transylvania. He's going through a lot right now. We need to really pray for Robert. And the retreat is in the Rocky Mountains, which explains why I love to spend so much time there. And if you've never seen those mountains, I tell you, the mountains here are gorgeous, and I absolutely adore them and love them. Those Rocky Mountains look like they reach the sky.
Who's the second best?
Saint Germain.
Oh, Saint Germain.
You're very present with me all day today.
Day of the week.
Day of the week. My PDF, but it got cut off at the sixth ray. But I will find the rest of it when I email it to you. So the angels working with us are Zekiel and the stone. What do you think?
Amethyst?
Amethyst, of course. There are others, but the amethyst is the main one to connect in with. And with this ray, with it being called the freedom of God, you may find yourself, if you're working with this ray, doing a lot of release, doing a lot of just letting go and figuring out that, you know what, those little things that seem so important, they're really not. And that's what Saint Germain helps us to do. There are also, a lot of this information was brought forth by the prophets. I forget her first name, but it's Claire Prophet. And there are 7 meditations to go with each of the rays that will guide you into their temple and into their energy. So when I send you the presentation, I'll also send you a link that you can listen to those meditations. They're not real long meditations, but they're very, very powerful. Okay, so I know you probably got questions. Let's take any questions that you have before we get up and stretch and get ready for Mama Hot Bear.
Years before, well, I like to think I've always been spiritual, but years before I began studying or working with it, I would close my eyes, I would all see light planes. And it wasn't until we started studying that I realized that was connected to something. And every time I do anything, he's always there. I never, I feel like after Heal my name died, that Saint Remain just imposes himself in just about everything I do. Yeah. And, I'm not real sure why, but for years I would just see violet flames and flames. Yeah.
So at the beginning, they're going to come with whatever is needed. So there's a reason that Saint Germain would come to you. There's something that was needed maybe to clear and to let go of. Anybody else? Kathleen?
Do they have anything to do with the day of the week you're born? Does it correspond with it at all?
There's a philosophy, and I believe it was the prophets that brought that information out as well. The day of the week you were born. Did anybody resonate with that day? With the ray of the day that you were born, or do you know the
Saint
day you were
Germain was
born?
what day?
Yes.
Saint Germain. I believe it is Saturday, because none of the others were.
Yeah, because that's the day I was born, and I really resonated.
I born on the Tuesday, day, but it was Tuesday.
Tuesday is the Blu-ray.
Oh. See, Blue? See?
Yeah, so there's the philosophy that the day of the week you were born, the place you were born, the time that you came in for that ray at that particular point on the timeline. Yeah. Okay, so when I send this, I will have the complete information from that PDF. Like I said, as you all know, I've had computers changing back and forth, so the complete one is the one that I was sent to. All right. So we have a short break, and then
Mama.
our wonderful, beautiful Mama Hot Bear is going to talk about Hot Bear.
Oh.